Hi, it's your girl host Izene, and you're listening to the Self Apology Podcast. I am so happy and I'm thankful for everybody who has followed me on this journey, listening to me, sharing, healing with me, growing with me. Everybody who has actually taking out time to share their experiences with me on this podcast. I am super thankful and I'm full of thanks because today is going to be the last episode on season 1. Yes, exactly. And I'm so happy about the growth and how far I have come with this. And yes, I feel good about it. So today we'll be talking about mental pain, and as always I'll be reading from a page from my book, and is in relation to page 80 from my book, and that is for your mind. So it goes like this. You can't stop pain with pain. Bullets don't numb, suicide doesn't stop it. So talking about mental pain, it's like a very broad subject, and considering the part of my book whereby I was relating to this, you can see, or you would come to understand, that mental pain, it's real. The only thing that it differs from physical pain, because physical pain is something you can locate, it's something an MRI scan or a CT scan can see, it's something your physical eye can see, it's something that can be physically healed, it's something that you might need like an object from outside to heal and all that. But mental pain is different, and mental pain comes from stress, mental pain comes from financial instability, mental pain comes from trauma, mental pain comes from depression, mental pain can come from everything. And mental pain in its literal sense means when the mind is unstable, because like when the mind is unstable, like it's you're not thinking well, so you become stressed. So yeah, when I was writing this, as usual, I was although the main trigger was a relationship, actually. Yeah, I know it might sound very cliche, because whenever girls say like, oh, they're having like issues, emotional trauma and everything, it always results from relationships. But yeah, that's a big deal, because I don't think it's right for everybody to just subjugate the whole mental thing to just the feminine class, because men to go through pain, but the thing is that they have a very hard time coming out from their space, or being vulnerable, or showing that, oh, this is what I'm going through. So yeah, so writing that, I was coming from like, one, I was being triggered by a relationship, and it was mentally painful because I couldn't come to terms, or I was struggling to come to terms that that person that was with me, or the person that was in my life, was no longer going to be there. And I was struggling to come to the terms that before they were, I was, and I would always be without them, as they would be without me too. So these were things I had to tell myself, and in thinking these things, it actually triggered and actually broke down all my walls. And then I had to come to terms with the places I've been, my insecurities, the things I was not proud of, the things I was not proud of, the every single thing, or every single emotion that I had bottled up in me, they all came out. And then that was like a very huge pain for me, because my mind was going crazy. So now, like, when it now comes to mental pain, here's the thing that here now boils down to everything now. So most people who actually go through mental pain actually find different ways to actually subdue this pain. So you see, some people resort to drugs to numb their mind, although sometimes you might not get lucky, because some drugs take you on some mental trips. Yes. And then you lose yourself in trying to escape from reality. And then sometimes some people resort to drinking, some people resort to casual sex, and in some very, very unforgivable situations, some people resort to self-harm, suicide. And this was me coming to terms and understanding that mental pain can never go with physical things, in the sense that I think I just hit like the right notes now. Like mental pain, when it comes to alcohol is physical. Alcohol is only going to affect your physical body, it's not going to affect your mind. Drugs are only going to temporarily make you forget what's happening, but in the literal sense, everything, your mind is still in that unstable. I think drugs are actually going to even fuck up your mind the more. Casual sex is actually still going to fuck up your mind the more, because the average minute of sex, how many minutes? The longest, except you guys are on some crazy drugs, you might go on for hours. But orgasms never last forever. So you definitely still come back to reality, back to the troubles of your mind. So would it be that you'll be fucking forever? I don't know. And then suicide actually never stops anything, because the truth of the matter is that I think I've never been dead before. I feel like the greatest secret to life is actually after death. But I feel like after, like, with the way our mind works, because even while we're asleep, being asleep is a different kind of death. So even while we're asleep, is our minds actually work to make us dream. So imagine if your mind is actually still unstable and then you still kill yourself. Did you really run away from the anxiety or the depression that it's actually troubling you? So when it comes to mental pain, that was what I was saying, because bullets, suicide doesn't do anything. Bullets can't do anything. And in addition to that, I'm saying that physical substance, drug abuse, sexual intercourse, using people as rebounds, using people as getaways to numb that mental pain can never ever actually heal or actually restore the balance of your mind. So what I'm saying right now is this: for mental pain, a lot of people say meditation, good. To meditate is good, right? But now meditating isn't just sitting all by yourself and doing and getting a yoga mat and trying to balance your chakras, in quotes. Meditation is a lot more than silence. Meditation is a lot more than solitude. Meditation is more or less a combination of being aware of yourself, self-love, plus other activities that you actively make sure that you do not indulge in. So now when it comes to drinking, I do not have a problem with anybody drinking. Yes, sometimes you can have a drink, you can have a glass. I don't know. I don't know the medical effects of alcohol. I'm not going to come about alcohol in any religious way possible. But all I would say is drink moderately or not at all. If you cannot hold your liquor, do not drink. But if you want to drink moderately. Do not drink to the point where you lose control. Do not drink in a fit of you trying to escape. Too much of everything in its literal sense is not good. And then when it comes to drugs, I don't know. I'm drug free. I used to do drugs before and I'm drug free. But I do not I'm not against people who smoke weed. I don't know. There are a lot of medical terms coming up that cannabis is good for cancer and so many other things. I don't know. There are a lot of edibles, there are tinctures, oils, and all those stuff. But the only thing I would say is do them moderately or not at all. And that is just weed. I do not know about like Molly, breath, codeine, all those ones. I feel all those ones are substance abuse because they are being produced, yes, for a reason. But when you now use it when you do not need it, or when you use it for the wrong purposes, then that's when it becomes drug abuse. So that's what I'm going to say. And then for casual sex, okay, so right now, something very funny has been happening to me. So I decided to become celibate and stay off sex, and for a while sometimes it gets tough because my body like when they always say like the battle between the spirit and the flesh. So like within, I know, or I'm like, I pray like, oh yeah, I do not want to indulge or get involved with sex. And then I see myself consciously making efforts to actually try and sexually please myself. But then the universe is sort of like cock blocking, in quotes, me, because I have tried in so many ways. But here's one thing I'm going to say when it comes to sex. Premarital sex is bad. Yes. There's a reason why they said it's bad. Premarital sex is bad. Not that if you have premarital sex, you're going to go to hell. No. Premarital sex is bad because it actually creates some connections that you might not want. It might actually rub off on you in ways that you might not want. That's exchange of fluid. Sexual connections are somewhat, I don't know, I guess some guys say it's a lot easier for them to actually get involved in sexual connections. But when it comes from the girls, sometimes you find yourself, you have sex with someone, you are unexplainably attracted or entangled with them. Some people have said some things like when they had sex with somebody, things that it's also like there's a whole lot of I feel like in the same way we actually be like, oh, positive energy only, negative energy and bad energy stay far away. I think we should also pay more attention to the sexual energies that we actually receive. Yeah, because this is the world that we live in. There's good or bad, so we have to be conscious about that. And that is all I would say for now. But then again, as I would always say, do not do those things are meant to be done, but do not do them for the wrong reasons. In the sense that when it comes to sex, please do not indulge or have sexual activities because you're trying to feel an emptiness within you. You're trying to kill something that's within you. No. Because it's not just you, it has to do with some other person too. And when it comes to suicide, I think I cannot emphasize on this as much as I've already emphasized on it before. Suicide does not change anything. Suicide is just the death, it's just killing the physical body. Mental pain, mental instability is not a physical thing. No, because if it's a physical thing, you could as well take like spirit and a cotton wool. They could operate on your heart to actually, they could operate on your mind to actually fix you. No, it can't be fixed. Even drugs, antidepressants do not fix you. They only make you sleep. They try to control you, but they do not heal you. I hope I made sense. Yeah. So that's it. So, and I know I'm not alone. Having started this journey, I know I'm not alone, and I know I'm not the only person doing this. And from the depth of my heart, with my eyes shut, I'm going to say this to everybody who is listening to me on this podcast, to everybody who has been on this journey with me on this podcast, to everybody who has been healing with me on this podcast, to everybody who has reached out to me, to people who are secretly morphing into a better version of themselves, to everybody who's sharing this podcast to someone else, to everybody, to everybody who is supporting me in any way, a like, a retweet, a play, a listen, a share. Thank you so much from the depth of your heart. You guys don't know what you're doing. You're doing more than I could actually even get from 35k per session with a therapist. You're doing more than a pack of amitriptyline or any antidepressant would actually do for me. You are doing more. You are doing enough for me, and I really thank you guys so much from the depth of my heart. Thank you. It's not easy. I won't lie to you people. It's not easy. Sometimes I come here and I be all positive and everything, and sometimes on my Twitter I go like, oh yes, life is this, but it's easy to say, but it's different to do. That's what I'm going to say. And it's tough. Sometimes I see myself falling short of my own expectations. Sometimes I see myself falling back into some old habits that I swore that I would actually never do again. But for the fact that I'm conscious, this self-awareness thing is you being aware of yourself, being aware. I think self-awareness isn't just how do I put it? Perfection, positivity, perfection is actually being aware of when you are wrong, when you are good, when you're doing something right, being aware of a mistake that you've made and ensuring that you correct it, being aware that you do not repeat it again, being aware that you are falling short of your expectations again, being aware that you need to forget yourself and pick up yourself, because you're human, so you are bound to fail, you are bound to succeed, that's how life is. Every day you are not a robot, you are not wired in a way that you would do a certain thing the same way. Sometimes things happen for you to learn. So I guess this is the journey of self-awareness, and I am happy that I've actually taken myself on. Like, it's not easy, I swear it's not easy. I swear there are so many things that I'm going through, there are so many things I have conquered, there are so many self battles I have won, there are so many self battles I have lost, and I'm still trying to fight to win them. And this is me saying the truth, because trust me, it's not always rosy. That's why, like, I'm not going to bullshit any motivational talker, but it's not as easy as it seems. It's not as easy as it's easier said than done. But the truth of the matter is, as long as you are aware of yourself, it will get better. It will get better. Thank you so much. And yes, the end of season 1. Thank you. I am so happy I did this, and I just want to give a very, very big shout out to Miss Oma for giving me this idea of doing this. Miss Oma, you are more than a therapist, honestly speaking, because this has done more than I actually thought it was going to do for me. I am breathing fine. My head is still not out of the water. I'm almost I'm trying to cool like a John Legend, but my head is underwater. But I am breathing fine. Yes, and I'm so sorry for the whole audio interruptions, my guys. Please, I am out in the open field, and there are like a lot of activities going around, a lot of people around, and it's quite sunny. I'm literally sweating, but there's just this calm that I feel. Thank you so much. Bye.